Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to day 4. Let's just take a quick look at where we got up to in the last video. So, we have this area now fully oxygenated. We have trees, we have plants, we have everything we need here. So this little starter base that we set up, completely done now. We've got our solar panels working really well. Coming up here to our secondary setup. So down here, this is automating the workbench. That's complete. Up here is automating the assembly bench. And that is now also complete. Everything's working. And so with that being done, we're now in a position where we can continue to look at progressing with our tasks. So in terms of the planet analyzer, we've fertilized as much of the region as we can at this stage. Watered as much as that can be filtered as possible. We need to regulate the climate, we need to cleanse the radiation, and we need to make an Earth-like atmosphere. The next thing we need to do for Terra information to get through stage 3 is establish a research base in the hottest region of the planet. A reinforced compartment with 5 data center units is needed. Okay, so in order to get that, first we've got the plane, so that's fine. So we've got the ship, sorry. But we need to make a material analyzer because we're going to want to make ourselves some high capacity O2 tanks and look and see if there's anything else available to us. So in order to do that, we're going to make this material analyzer because that's going to help us progress. Now, in order to make that, we need some items that we don't currently have available yet. And we can go ahead and look at what it takes to craft it. So we have it here. If we right click, it says we need sensor arrays. And we know that a sensor array requires us to have an element of gold. And we don't have gold at the moment. So if we take off and we have a look over here, we can see this is where the gold deposit is. Gold deposit is just over here. So we're going to head over in this general direction to see the gold. And it's just here. So we're going to put a right click to get that blue mark. We'll take off, spin around so we can see the direction we're going in. And we're going to head forward. And we're going to use our ship. We've got 10 minutes of flight time, which is plenty. We're going to head over here, over this peak. And then we're going to look to come down here in this section. All right, now we're going to put down our ship just over here. Now this is a hot region, which means we are going to, if we come outside, we are too hot. And it's actually going to hurt us. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves, as we did before, we're going to grab ourselves a base living compartment and we're going to put that down. We're also going to make sure we eat something so that our health is up. And then we're going to jump out of our ship and we're going to put down our base. And our base at the moment can go down just here and we can go inside. Great. So now we know that we're safe. We've got this area. We're good. Let's have a little look around. So here's some gold. And over here as well, we can see there's some more gold. There's not really much else in this region that we can use at the moment. So it's only the gold that we're going to be able to get. So what we're going to do, we're going to put down on top here. And again, we've got all these items now. We don't even need to carry them, which is brilliant. We place this down and we've now opened up fast rotor, insulation layer, and plated connector. We've got a saw blade and a sensor array, and that is what we needed, was the sensor array. Also, we've got gold wiring. All right, so let's have a quick look. If we were to make gold wiring, so as we do everywhere, we're going to put an advanced crafting bench down. If we have a look at this, gold wiring requires rubber and gold ingots. So we know that we're going to have to get rubber in here. Well, actually, rubber shouldn't be too bad. Because if we look over here, look, there's some water over there. So we could run some water up through here. We could tunnel through here. And that's going to make the ability for us to do that. So that's something we can do quite simply. We are, as always, going to put down another warehouse. Now, we do want to consider making a warehouse T2 at some point. But for now, we're just going to make one more standard warehouse. And we're going to put that down just here. So it's nice and easy for us. Brilliant. So, 2 things that we're going to have to do here. We're going to want to make a splitter. So we're just going to go ahead and make a very simple splitter for us. And what that's going to do, in fact, before we do that, because that's going to be the gold ore, we can go ahead and we can split this so that the gold ore, and we do this here. And we'll come down a bit. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have gold ore And that gold ore is going to come out and go into here. So we'll just set this up here as a starting point. Gold ore goes straight in like this. Now, the reason this isn't working at the moment is because we don't have any power. And for that, we're going to need to put one of these down. So we're going to stick down here, solar panel. And because it's nighttime, it's working, but it's only working at a certain percentage. So that's fine. During the day, that will work fine though. So now we've got this, which is making our gold, and that's going to push that into there. The next thing we're going to want to do, and if we go to tasks, by the way, and we type in gold, we can see what we need. This is a forge that's going to make this. So the forge to make this, and then we can see the assembly to make this. Great. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a forge. Put the forge down to here. Perfect. And then when that comes out, we want to do two things again. So we're going to take another splitter at this point. Just spin this around. And we'll just place that down here, and we're going to have into here. This is going to come into here. And now we can come out and start making some of the items we need to make. So we have... Is that coming through? Yep, it is. Okay, so we have gold ingots coming in straight away. So gold ore. So we're collecting the raw resource. That's great. Then we're processing this into gold ingots, and that is coming through. And then if we come back to tasks and we type in gold, we also want to make gold wiring. And this is going to need ingots and rubber. And it's going to be made in an assembly. So we're going to take an assembling machine. And in this instance, what we're going to do is we're going to push this into here, like so. And this is the only thing we're going to make here, by the way. So for this, just keep it really nice and simple. What we're going to do is push this down here. Okay, now this we're going to set up. And in order to set it up, what we're going to do is we're going to go from here. Now that doesn't work. Let's go ahead and delete that. From there into there. That's perfect. We're also going to go from here. We're going to go into here. Great. And then this is going to be responsible for making gold wiring. Now we can also make, if we had copper, we can make plated connectors as well. So nothing else we've got made gold at the moment, but we are going to need gold wiring, and we're also going to need plated connectors. So we need ingots to go into both of those. Now we can, if we want to, fix this to make it a bit better for us. And the way we can do that is just we can remove this for now, remove this for now, because we can see now that we've got to do a little bit more. And we can actually move this to bring it out a little bit. So all we'll do, we're just going to open this out. And we're actually going to put it here instead. And that is going to be much better for us. So from here, we'll go in. From here, we'll go in. So that's nice and clean. And then we're going to want to make two of these buildings. Okay, so we're going to make the first one here. And then we'll make the second one shortly after. So trying to make sure that we got this in the right place. We'll put one there, and we'll put one right next to it. Brilliant. So this one is going to come straight in. This one is going to come into here. Try to make sure that we get this as clean as we can. Perfect. Now this is everything that we need. So they're going to go in all different directions. Great. All right. So this one, as we know, is going to be making gold wiring. And then, or this one, in fact, is going to be making gold wiring. And this one is, in fact, going to be making plated connector. But we do need some copper. Now, there isn't any copper around here. So we need to find where we're going to bring that up from. And it could be that we have to come from this over here. And we have to push this all the way over. It's going to be quite a long way. We can do it. But we just need to bear that in mind. That's something we're going to have to work on. So at the moment, we're not making any plated connectors because we need copper ingots for that. So that's a later problem. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go and get that wiring, and that's going to require rubber. We already know the process with rubber and how challenging that can be. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this here. So we're going to have this greenhouse, and that's going to come down like this. Oh, we need some more organics for that, of course. Organics now, very easy to make. All we need to do is put these down. Now, it says we don't actually have any rocks at the moment, so that's fine. We can just grab some rocks, just like that. Easy. And if we want to grab a couple more, we can do that. All right, so now we've got those organics. That's fine. We were meant to be pushing organics in. I think that we maybe didn't do that right. We need to go back and check that because we should have organics coming in. We'll have to find out why they're not and fix that. We can do that as well. That's not a problem. All right, so gold now, almost set up. Last little bit we need to do here. Now, the other thing we can do is we could put down a ship platform and we could put down a ship recall station if we wanted to, just to keep this charging. We don't need to, but it's just something else that we could do if we wanted to have this here. And in order to have this, we need a controller. Well, controllers are easy enough for us to make. We've got all the items, we just need to craft it. And because we're not making many of these, we don't need to automate controllers. It's quite easy for us just to make them on the fly. And all we need to do at this stage is put this down here like this. Great. Now if we press that, the ship comes down and we are where we need to be. All right, brilliant. Let's go ahead and look inside our ship here. We've got these. That's great. That's all we needed. So coming out now, we can make our greenhouse. For the greenhouse, we're just going to place it down somewhere around here like this. That should work just fine for us. Now we have to remember what we're doing here. We need 2 of these to come in. And so the way that this is going to work is we're going to have one that comes directly in like so. We're also going to have one that comes in like so. So we keep it like that. And this is going to come out of here into here. This one out of here into here. That one didn't actually work, so we'll just remove that bit. So that was meant to go into there. And this one from there into there. Great. Now the only thing missing on this is we need to pipe up this water pipe. So for that, we're going to go through here. And actually, we need to try and go through this. Through this like so. All right. Let's go outside. We've done as much as we can do here. Let's go and jump into our ship. And now we're just going to come down to here. And because it's the evening, we're quite good. We're going to go ahead and put another base down. We're going to put lots and lots of these little living quarters down all over the place. So this one's going to go just here. Great, we'll go inside. All right, and now let's look at what we need to build. So we need to build a water pump. We know that. So first of all, the water pump can go just here. So it's in the water. All right, this is not very pure, so it's not making much. So we're going to filter some of this water as well. So we'll go ahead and make a water purifier, and we'll put that in just here so it's nearby it. 7% pure, so that's going to purify a bit of an area around here. We'll be able to use that water pump. And then from here, we'll be able to take this. First thing we're going to do is take it out to here in case we need to make more. And we can go ahead and connect from here. Again, sometimes it can be very challenging to get this in where it needs to go. So if that's the case, you may want to start from this side instead. And if it doesn't work, go from the left side. I find it kind of easier to go from here. There we go. Try and find that spot so it can connect in. Now what we need to do is find this spot on the other side. So again, just find that. And now we're going to head over this way towards where the other one is that we had. So that's going to keep a nice straight pipe. But what we need to do now, and this is where the challenge is going to be, is we need to grab this pipe and get it through here. And so trying to find how that pipe is going to go from here to here, this is going to be the challenge that we're going to have. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to land here. And we need to get out of the ship, and this is going to be a bit of a problem because there's not really anywhere for us to get out here or for anything for us to do. So, what we're going to do is we're going to come down onto the ground. And we're going to use the drone instead. So, what we're going to do, connect to that part of the pipe, come over the top. And we're going to bring this down as far as we can. It's actually a bit of a challenge to get this all the way down here. So we're going to bring it out somewhere around here. And then from there, we're going to want to go all the way down and connect up to that. And that's it. That pipe is now connected through there. So, now that this pipe works, for some reason, it's actually put us on the other side that we didn't want to be on. Which is really not ideal, to be honest. We didn't want to be on this side. The only thing we can do in this instance, whilst we're here, is build another vehicle hangar. Now, this is why we're very, very lucky to have these resources, because we need to recall our ship. We can't do that when we're stuck here because of this pipe. So we're going to have to run all the way down. Hopefully we don't die. We've got a bit of food left. But we have nothing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to call our ship. And then we need to make a controller. In order to make a controller, we know we're going to need a assembly bench. So we're going to go ahead and make that. Let's just go inside. We'll use the drone. We're going to need a little bit of rock. So we'll grab that. Cool. Okay, now we can go ahead and make a... Oh, no, we don't. We just need gears. We've got that. Alright, so we'll push this down. This is going to allow us to make our controller that we need. With our controller, we can scroll to the very bottom. And now we can make a ship recall, which we'll just put here. Now we can recall our ship, and it's going to come back, which is great. So that's what we needed. So, we're in our ship. That's nice. Let's head back over here. And let's see if this is working. Yes, we can see there are organics that are coming out. Now, it's not ideal because we're not getting the exact amount that we need. If we look at the greenhouse, 40% water and 100%. So, we can get a little bit more water if we need to. But that is going to push everything through that we need. So, let's come and check back down here. And all we need to do, very, very simple at the end here. Alright, we're just going to need to put a second one of these up. Which we can do, just needs to be in the water. And all we need to do is grab this pipe from here into there. Done. Great. And we're back in our ship and off we go. So we don't actually need anything else on us at the moment. We just needed to do that at this stage. And that is enough for us to now start crafting the items that we need. So we've got this section. We come back down to our area here. Find out where our landing page is, which is just here. So we try and get as close as we can onto here. And if we don't make it, it's fine. We just click this button and it resets. Okay. Let's see if we have everything that we now need to be able to make the sensory arrays. So we just need that gold wiring, and that's a process which is going to come. It's just taking a bit of time. So for that, we need gold ingots and rubber. So these will come. The gold wiring will come because we are making it. We are producing. I believe we are anyway. We should probably go back and double check that because we didn't. Let's just go back and have a very, very quick check. Because we didn't. It's very easy for us to get there. We're just going to make sure with this production that we're absolutely happy with it. All right, so what we're going to do is put that down here, and we're actually going to put this down on this side as well. Oh. Don't really like where that went, to be honest, so let's just put it down again. That's it, better. Nice, we can come out of the ship and straight into here. Great. All right, we'll pick that one up. Let's make sure we get the right one. Don't want to get the solar panel. We'll grab the plants as well. And the assembly station. All right, so let's check this out. What's going on? So into here, we didn't actually tell it what to make. So that needs to make rubber. We didn't tell it, which is why we wasn't getting what we needed. And from here, we only need rubber because rubber's coming in here with the gold ingots. Oh, in fact, we didn't need this second one. That was a mistake on our part, so we're going to get rid of that. We only needed the one, not the two of them. So let's go ahead and connect this. Connect it into here like so, and that's perfect. In fact, just because I'm absolutely perfectionist when it comes to this, even though I'm not that good, we're going to put this here like so, just because it's a bit cleaner. That was my bad because I forgot we only needed one. I was automatically making myself some more rubber bands, which I don't need to do. All right, so we're just going to make rubber. So there we go. We've got tree greenhouse now, which is quite a lot of tree greenhouse, by the way. Now, we could, if we wanted to, make ourselves just by putting this down here like this. Now we can go ahead and remove this. This one can come into here. This one can go into there, which hopefully that will work. And this one, do you know what? It's not quite working the way we wanted it to in terms of, there we go, like that. So it's not ideal, but it does work. And that way we're going to have, hopefully this comes through. It's making rubber. We just need to check that this is connected, which it should be. There we go. Rubber's going through now. This is also coming through, so we know we're absolutely making with no questions. We're going to take some gold with us. We know we're absolutely making with no questions now as much of this organic as we need. So for health and things like that, that's going to be really good. Okay, so last thing we need to do is we're going to need to connect from this one up to here. So that one's in. And then we're going to need to connect from this one up to here. So that one's going in. All right. And looking at the warehouse now, we can see organics are in. We've got gold ore. We've got gold ingots. So this is the gold production. We've got gold wiring going in. Very simple to set up. Organics. And then once this one's done, which needs copper. So copper is the only thing missing from here, which is stopping this from working. But once we have copper, we'll be able to get the planted connectors in. So we just need to find a way to bring copper into here. So that's it. We are now definitely done. Always good to double check your production chains before you fly away. All right, let's head back down to this area. Perfect. Recall that. And now we can make these sensory arrays because we're making these gold wirings. So, just going to turn ourselves around. I'm going to get rid of some of that sulfur ore. I just don't need it. I also don't really need a lot of this stuff, to be honest. We're going to get rid of some of this as well. So, just clear a little bit of space for us. Okay, so making these gold wirings. We're going to go ahead and make a few of these. They are starting to produce, and so we will get them in time. And that's going to allow us to make these 2 sensory arrays. Now, we do want to automate these. It'd be nice to have these because in the future, we're going to need a lot of them. But this is a more advanced item. For that, we're going to need gold wiring and antennas. Now, we know where we're making our gold wiring, but to make an antenna, we need iron and copper. So we need to either bring the gold over to the antennas, or we need to bring the antennas over to the gold. But if we do that, we need to take the copper as well. We're not quite ready for that yet. We'll get there, but we're not quite ready for that yet. So that will come later. For now, let's go ahead and just make 2 of these sensory arrays. Perfect. And now we should have everything that we need, and we do, to make this analyzer. So we're going to put it inside. It can just kind of sit in here. Doesn't really matter where it goes, but we're going to put it here. This is the material analyzer. And for this to work, we're going to need filters and sulfur, of which we've got available because we don't even need to carry it with us. We can just use it. So we're going to analyze the sulfur ore. This is the first thing we're going to do. And by doing this, we're going to unlock a bunch of new items in terms of recipes and machines. So we've got the battery now. So now we can craft a battery. We've got the high capacity O2 tank. We've got the steamroller so we can start to lay out our foundations, and the wheel. So some new items that are now available to us. Great. So before we continue or go any further, we're going to grab the battery. And I think it's only right that we put a couple of batteries down. So we can put these down kind of next to our base here. We'll just put one here. And then at the moment, we're going to put a second one down next to it. And all these are going to do is give us a bit of an extra charge. So because we've got 540 in the network, but only 400 on demand, because there's 400 on demand, these batteries, they produce 100 each, right? And they've got a charge to them. So really, we're going to want as a backup, minimum of 4 of these at the moment. So we can go here, we can go here, and if we want to make one extra just for luck, we've now got 5 batteries. All right, so there's all of our batteries. And because 500 in the network, that's fine. Total network, 540. So we're making a bit extra. So the batteries are charging up as well as everything that we're using. That's during the day. Batteries are going to be used at night. Everything there, really good. Nothing else we need to worry about at that stage. So if we wanted to, we could put a couple more of these down. Just so we've got them. There's no kind of flat land to put these on anymore. So we're just going to have to put one along there. And kind of put one along there just to kind of match it as best we can. They're a little bit off that one, so we're going to go forward 1 square. Just because we're being a perfectionist. No, see, actually, it's because they're not even. They're not on the same... They're not on a level playing field. Because this one's lower. Because of this one's a bit higher, it's not going to sit right. So we're just going to have to get it as close as we can. Which I think is going to be that. That's fine. It's not perfect, but they work. That's okay. We've got a bit extra there. So more than enough power. Batteries charging up. So far, everything here is really good. All right. Next step. What are we doing from here? We've got everything that we need here at this stage. If we want to put a beacon on our base, we can. So we can kind of put that with the... There we go. We put a beacon up there. So that's now there as well. So we've always got a beacon to come back to. So that's good. And having a look down, everything here is done. Everything here is done. We've now got everything here. We need to do these warehouse tier 2. But for that, we need basalt concrete. So let's see if we can start making that basalt concrete because we're not doing that yet. So that's going to be our next goal and our next objective. So basalt concrete. We'll pick that up. We'll take our ship. Now, it's evening, which is a great time to do this. We know that basalt is up here. We know this is where we're making it. So what we're going to do is put our ship down here. We're going to make ourselves another little hut, which is going to be just here. We'll go inside our hut, and once inside, we're going to make ourselves a little landing pad. So we're doing a little vehicle hangar for us. Great. And then, as before, we're going to put ourselves out another station. We're going to use that to make ourselves another controller. And then from here, if we scroll all the way to the bottom, we're just going to put down this, which we can then click to put the ship back on it. Great. And now we're here. Okay, so this is making the basalt, but the basalt is going straight in and then nothing's happening to it after that. So what we need to do is we need to change this process. Now, if we have a look at tasks, at crafting, and we have a look at the basalt that we've got coming out, which is here, we know that we want to make basalt into this concrete, and that we can see needs a refiner. And a refiner we know is going to need water, and there is water over here. And so it makes sense that if we're going to refine it, we may as well refine it as it's down here. And so for that to happen, we actually need to go over to this ship. So we're actually going to fly over here. And then we're going to jump into this building here instead. Alright, so from here... Actually, I apologise. We're not going to go for this one. We're actually going to go for this one over here. That temperature's hot, so we need to be very careful at the moment. Let's just heal up. And then we're going to make some more food because we're running out and we don't want to die. We need to make that on the other bench, not this one. Alright, so we know we've got the basalt coming around here. And at this point we can see we've got this refinery here. So we're going to grab a refinery. And we need to put this somewhere on this journey. It kind of makes sense if we're going to do it. Then we're going to put it on somewhere around here. It needs to go this way, which is fine. So I think we're going to put this around here, like so. Alright. We're going to take out that. And instead that is going to go into here. And that is going to go into here. Perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab this and we're going to put a kind of a link in, which I'm thinking we're going to put in somewhere around here. Doesn't actually matter where it goes. And then we're going to grab this pipe. Connect that pipe, and that pipe is going to go actually all the way underground to there, and then it's going to spin around and connect into there. So now this has got 59% water, 100% here, and this is going to make basalt concrete. So all of the basalt now is going to come down here. It's going to come through here. We're going to make basalt concrete instead of basalt, and that's going to push through into here. And great. We're just going to put these up here a little bit, just so we can start pushing that rest of that stuff through. Now, we did have a problem here, and that problem is here, where for some reason... so this is the problem, is this is not going in. Now, this one should be... This is the radars going in a third one, but this osmium... I think osmium is now going into here instead, so let me just check that out. It is. So the problem we've got here is all of this here is not allowing us. So that was the reason we wasn't getting our organics in that we wanted. So organics can go in there instead. This stuff can come out. This is almost full now, which is great. And if we go ahead and have a look, we actually don't need any of these. So we're just going to go and delete all of this. Oh, we deleted some gears by mistake there, but that's okay. We don't need any of those either. We don't need sulfur ore. Don't need gold ore. We don't need rocks. We don't need any of this because we've got so much of it. Graphite, we don't need any of that. Iron rods, we've got so much of it. Quartz, we don't need anything in our inventory. We actually don't right now. Cool. So we're actually getting 2 lots of this now. Which is interesting because actually not too much of this is going through. So we're waiting on this. So I think what we're going to do at this stage is we're going to remove this one from here because we're getting it from the other location now instead. That means we can remove this splitter, and instead we just go direct through. So now we're just getting a lot more going through here, and we haven't got to mess about, which is a lot nicer. All right, that's done. That's all done. This now has everything that we need. Iron beams are being made, but they're just being made really slow. And the reason that is iron rods are really slow, and the reason for that is... That's at 100%, so that's good. That's working 100%, but it's just not producing quick enough because we've got... Yeah, so we need to upgrade this. Now, one of the things that we got, if we have a look here, is the conveyor belt, which is 60 resources a minute. So we need to upgrade that to a level 2. So, let's head out to our ship. Now that this is done, and we fixed that basalt issue that we had, and we just want to double check it to make sure it's working. So that's all coming through here. It's coming through this refinery. We can see it going in. That's great. That's all working. We just need to double check before we go. We do need to make sure that it is going inside. It looks like it is. But we do need to just double check. Yes, it's going in, but look, we've got all of this in here. So what we've got is 100 in here. We'll leave... we'll take that with us for now. Sulfur's in there. Filters are in there. We've got everything else in there. We'll leave maybe a little bit of that. We'll leave 20, 40, 60 of basalt in there. Not that we need any. And that's going to put all the rest of that in there. So we've got more space for that. So that's great. So we've got everything that we need there. All done. We can now come back over to here. There we go. And if we head inside, now let's look at what we need to do. So task-wise, we know we need to establish a research base, right? We're ready to do that now. In order to do our next objectives, though, we can unlock Conveyor Mark II, Carbon Refiner, and a cooling module. And a cooling module, when equipped, this device protects you from extreme heat by regulating your body temperature. So, in hot environments, this allows us to be cool. That's what we need. For that, we need carbon-based materials. So, clicking on this, we have enough graphite because we can grab it from the warehouse. So we're going to go ahead, grab the graphite, and we're going to analyze the carbon-based materials. Now, the next one's locked until we unlock the previous one. So this is going to give us more tools that we can use to be able to go into those hot regions. So now we have Conveyor Belt Mark II, Carbon Refiner, Cooling Module, and we have the rover. This is really powerful because now we can take this initial section that we had, and if we look here, this is the problem. This is pushing out at 120 per minute. This can only take in at 60 per minute. So what we need to do is remove this belt, and instead we need to make a level 2 belt. Now this needs carbon fiber. We don't have carbon fiber at the moment, so we're not able to do it. But that is what we would do, is we would change this over. So carbon fiber is something we want to start producing a lot of for belts. But also, we need to have a look at what does it take to make a cooling module. Well, this needs advanced filters. We can also, by the way, make this, but we need 2 standard O2 tanks. So if we take our 2 standard O2 tanks off, come back into here, scroll down, we can now make a high capacity O2 tank. This is going to mean that we can take a lot more. So these are 70 each. This is 200. So if we just go ahead and make 2 of these standard tanks, we'll make a second high quality tank. And now we've got 2 high capacity tanks. We're going to go ahead and put both of these into here, and you'll see our oxygen goes up to 500. Now we can last for an extremely long time away from anything. Not that we have to, but we can. All right, so far so good. Now what we need to make. The next stage of what we're doing, we can make these vehicles, but we need wheels, pistons, and controllers. So we'll look at making that. We can also make a rover if we want with large storage. Again, we're not going to do that just yet. The thing that we want to do, or the thing we want to make, is this reinforced compartment. Now, to make a reinforced compartment, we're going to need steel alloy. Okay? We've got the basalt concrete. We also need insulation layers. We're not quite ready to make those insulation layers just yet, so we have to look at what that takes. And I can tell you, if we look at the basic crafting, an insulation layer here is a gold ingot. So we have to go back and we have to plug that in, because we need gold ingots to go plug in to make this insulation layer. Before we do that, let's click on the material analyzer, and we need gold, so we need ore and ingots. Let's go ahead and we're going to analyze this, because we're pushing through now. We've got a lot of these materials to get through this stage of the game. And we're unlocking quite a lot of things that we're going to need. So now we've got the alloy forge. We needed that. We've now got the bulldozer. The bulldozer is going to allow us to flatten the land down. We've got the vehicle charging panel and a vehicle hangar. So we can start to make really nice bases and things now. So if we have a look at the bulldozer to see what this is, this terraform vehicle is used to raise or lower the ground level. So this steamroller terraforming vehicle is used to flatten or smooth the ground efficiently. Efficiently. This one is used to either raise or lower the ground level. So we've got these 2 terraforming buildings now, which are pretty cool. Now we've got the ingots, but we're not quite there yet on this one. So we can do it because we know where it is, but we're not quite there yet. So we're going to wait for this one. We've got a carbon refiner that we can build. And in fact, if we just go and chuck this outside for a moment, we just put it down. Now we've got advanced filters, carbon nanotubes. We'll see we've got reinforced frames. And we've got quite a few other things as well that we can make. So large windows being one of them. But we can click on this and we can see we need to make these advanced filters, carbon fiber. So we know what this now requires. This needs graphene. This one needs coal or graphene. Graphene. So we now know that this is connected to where the graphene is. And we know that the graphene is up the top. So we can go back up to here. Because we know it was in this section. And we know that we were making all of this graphene from over here. But it wasn't really doing anything, was it? So we had it. But all it's doing at the moment is in its raw state, it is heading in like this. And we need to change this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this building. We're going to come out of here. All right, we're going to remove this conveyor belt and we're going to put this in its place just here like so. Let's go ahead and remove that conveyor belt. And now what we're going to do instead is this is going to go into here. Let's just actually remove that conveyor belt. There we go. So that's going to go into here. This one is going to come out of here to here. And then as we did before, we're going to do the same thing. This water lava is going to go from this way. Now we're not going to go all the way around because that's far too crazy a thing to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it around this way to here. Then we're going to connect in like so. We're going to bring it in a straight line to here. And then from here, we're going to bring this round. Again, just keeping it nice and clean. And from here into there. Right, it's making 13% water, but this is now going to make us whatever we want it to make. And in this instance, we're going to make some advanced filters because we need some of those to start with. In fact, advanced filters is something that we can make quite easily. I would actually argue we want to make that carbon fiber because that carbon fiber is going to allow us to make all of the ingredients that we need. So we'll tidy this up later. We'll fix all of this up. But there we go. We've got that process. Now here, we've got a load of this graphene that we made, right? So we're going to take all of this out now because we don't want it. We'll leave that there. We'll leave a little bit in. Perfect. Okay. Some more progress. Now we know we've got a water issue that we need to deal with. We also have no idea where we put our ship. I think it was over here. There it is. So we just know that we're not making enough water down here. And so we can come down. And one of the next things we should look to do is put down another water filter. So we can do that while we're here. We'll just grab that one. We're going to place it just where it will let it go. So in this instance, it's going to go just there. And all we're going to do is grab that, put it into here. And now we've just made a little bit more water. So, cool. So this is low power at the moment because it's nighttime. We're not making enough. So batteries are 0. Total in the network is 176, but demand is nearly 500. So we've got a big demand and we're just not quite using it at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. So let's head back. Lots going on at this stage. We're going to put this ship down and we're going to recall it because that wasn't a very good landing. And we're going to head inside. In fact, we're going to head to here to this workbench and we're going to make ourselves just a bit of food. And we're using all that organic now to make the food, so we're never going to run out of this. All right. We need to head over to make this installation layer, although we can just make it, at the moment, we can make it ourselves, but we want to automate that. So we'll head back over to do that in the near future. Also, we don't really want saw blades at the moment, but when we do, we need to make those. Okay. So, what is it we need to make now? We've made the carbon refiner. That's done for now. When we find another location, we can make a few of these. And for that to happen, obviously the only thing we need, and they're not on the map, is going to be those nodes. Now, we could make it from that one we found, split it all out, do all of that. But we'll wait for now. We'll see if we can find something a bit better for it. We don't need all of those other items at the moment. But that works as a temporary measure. We can now make a forge, but we need 10 plated connectors. Well, we need copper ingots. And actually, at no point anywhere have we been collecting copper ingots. So we're just going to take those out of there for now. Because we have no space to put them in at this stage. And so now we've got these copper ingots. We can go ahead and make these plated connectors. So we're going to go ahead and make 10 of these. And we'll look at what we can automate. Because we will eventually automate everything. But for now, we only want to automate things if we really need to. We're just trying to get to that next section of where do we need to go and what do we need to do. So, that's done. Now we can actually make ourselves an alloy forge. And if we just go ahead and as before, we're just going to place it down for now. Just so it's on the ground. And now we've got railway. This is a lot of items. We've got a double track railway. So now we can make railways. We've got steel alloy, which we need. Now we've got osmium alloy, which we need. We've got floor panels that we can make now. All right, we've got a freight car, so we can start to move things with trains. We've got a rail support. So we've got the locomotive. So now we've opened up the train network to be able to move stuff. And we've got a buffer stop as well. And we've got a train station. So now we can build train stations and we can start to move resources between A and B. And that's something we're not going to do today, but we can do that in another video. So this is just steel alloy. And this is osmium alloy, so we can get the gold ingots and the osmium ingots. So we'll have to put this between the two, or we'll have to find another location to build this. We can always just find another location. Steel alloy. This is either iron and graphene, which will be nice, or iron and coal. So we can look at that. So now we know what we need. Great, we've got that. We'll take that, get our stuff back. This, again, we need ingots. We don't have those at the moment. So that's everything done there. Everything's done here. But now we have conveyor Mark II. And we've fixed that situation. So now we can come back to here. And even though we're not using this at the moment, we can just show you how it works. So now we can remove this. And we can go ahead and select this. And this is going to be the advanced. So now everything's going to come out 120 per minute. You can see the difference between them. Now, the problem is this is going to craft, but nothing's happening at the moment because everything's full. But this would be really good up the top. This is where we would need this. So we can start to move those belts to get everything moving just a little bit faster, a bit more effective. Let's go ahead and do that so it's done. Just keeping on top of all of our admin. So this is going to be a section just over here. Just going to jump into our building so we're nice and safe. We don't want to get hurt. Okay, so first thing we need to look at is this here. This is too slow. So what we're going to do is speed this process up to start with. All right, now this is only making 60 per minute, but this is pushing out at 120 per minute. That means we could double up this and make a second one, and we can push them through individually. So one of these can push through back round to here, but we can also make a second one that can push through just directly through to this. It's going to speed this process up. So again, we have to be careful because we've got a 60 per minute coming out, of which we've got going. If you think about 60 per minute, that's going to be 20, 20, and 20. Now, at the moment, nothing's coming through here because that's full. So because that's full, that's going to be 30 and 30. But this could take up to 120 a minute. Now, in order for this to happen, it needs 2 ingots, right? So it can't produce 120 a minute because in order for it to do that, even though that's what it could produce, it hasn't got the input coming in, which means it's not able to work efficiently. Because it's only got 30 coming in, and of that it needs 2 to make 1, so it's only able to make 15 per minute. So 15 per minute is the output right now instead of 120. So again, we could definitely make that more efficient by splitting this, running it like that. Same with this, it's only pushing out 60 a minute, so we don't need to update that. So we can start to see now where the bottlenecks are and how we can make them just a little bit more efficient. Same with this one. This is only making 29 per minute because we haven't got enough water. So there's no point pushing anything else at the moment. But again, it just shows you and gives you an idea of what we can build and how we can do it. And just kind of good to see that. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in our ship. Head back down because there is something that we need to do. Oh, there we go. That was a very smooth landing that we did there. Get past these batteries. Again, we can just call that back. And now, because we've got pretty much everything else we need to make this, which needs those advanced filters. So advanced filters are now something that we can make, but we can't make them from here. We have to make them from up here. I actually thought I grabbed them, but maybe I was wrong. So that is going to be from the carbon refiner. We're actually going to make advanced filters. So we'll go ahead and just grab some of this. We only actually need 4 of these at the moment. They didn't come into the warehouse. We've got a lot of stuff here. We'll just take that out. Don't need any graphene. We'll keep a couple of graphene in there. We don't need them, but that's fine. Everything else there is working really well. We'll keep 2 basalt, not that we need it. We've actually got loads of basalt. We just don't need any of that. Cool. Happy days. We'll sort this. Great. So now we've got these advanced filters. What we're going to do is just delete some of this stuff that we don't need. It's just too much crap. And we're going to grab these advanced filters that we're currently making. Great. We'll go back to making this for our carbon fiber. We don't need anything else at the moment. And we've got those advanced filters. So let's go back. And because we've got the advanced filters, we can now make the cooling modules. We're going to make 2 cooling modules. 2. The reason we're going to make 2 is because the first cooling module helps us in heat, and the second one helps us in extreme heat. So if we have a look, we can see we've got 2 spaces here. So we'll take out one of these tanks for now. We'll put one in for low heat and one in for there. So now we're nice and cool. And if we go up to that area now, we will not take damage. Also, it's worth looking, if we go to our tasks and we look at our planet, this is normal, this is hot, this is very hot, this is cold, this is very cold. And so now we can go into the hot and the very hot. Well, we need to go into the very hot, that's what we need to do. So let's do that. But in order to do that, we need some items. So what do we need? Well, we need this reinforced component, and for that we need steel alloy. Okay, we need steel alloy. And then what else do we need? We need data centers. Again, we need steel alloy. We need insulation layers. So let's go fix up the insulation layers. Let's go and start producing steel alloy. And then we're in a good place. That's what we're going to need. So we need to go and find the gold. In fact, one thing we can do just before we go is make another one of these. Just as a kind of just a temporary solution right now. Just because we've got so much rubbish that we don't need. So all of that basalt can stay there. Just in case we need it later. Put that there as well. Advanced filters we don't need. Carbon fiber. All of that stuff. We don't really need it. We can make that stuff later. Cool. We will keep those installation layers on us. Okay. Let's jump in our ship. Go back to the gold. And we need to start making and crafting those installation layers. Alright, so we have that spot at the moment that we're currently not using. This one we're struggling with at the moment. We can't get anything into here. And look, we're okay now, so we're still cool. Even though we're out, we're cool. Alright, so what we actually need to make, and we make it in one of these actually, this. We just need gold ingots, which we actually have going in here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to remove this for now, because we can't make the other one. We're going to put this in its place, just temporarily for now. We're going to remove it from there. Instead, what we're going to do is grab that. And these gold ingots that are going to go into here are going to make us installation layers. And then that's going to fill this up with installation layers. So that's done. So that's everything at this stage that we need. There's nothing else we can make here right now because we don't have the materials to do it. So that's perfect. We fixed that issue that we had. We're just going to check they're going in, which they are. That's great. Also, this is producing 30 a minute, so that's perfect. Even though this can push out more, that's okay. We're good. That's done. All right, next thing that we need to deal with. Next thing that we need to deal with that we mentioned is going to be the steel. So let's just have a look at what we need and what that requires. So, tasks. Steel alloy that we know, right? So steel alloy requires an alloy forge, and that requires graphite and iron ingots. All right, let's have a look on the map. The graphite we know is up here, and we know we've got iron deposit up here as well. So we could make that up there. That is somewhere to go. So let's have a look. All right, so this is the graphite that's coming out. So the graphite that's coming out of here. But also we've got the iron coming out of here. But this iron is already being used really heavily. So this is not really ideal in this situation. We're making too much out of this one. And it's really struggling right now. So I don't really want to split this anymore. But what I do have, because if I have a look at what that requirement is again, if I go to tasks and I type in steel, this needs ingots. Ingots and graphite. Well, actually, the graphite that's coming out here, at this point, it's being split. But also, we've got the iron ingots that are going in here as well. So we're collecting iron ingots. Well, what if we just collect the iron ingots somewhere else? We don't have to do that here. And what if actually a better idea would be to, and we'll just head over, because we're collecting these ingots anyway. So what if we split off of these here? And then that is going to give us, from that split here, the ability, and we can actually remove this. We don't need this one now because, well, we just don't need it. We'll get rid of that. And we can get rid of this assembly bench. We can leave that there for now. It's okay. But this can push out of here, through here, and into here. So in order to do this, we need to look at what we need. We need a forge. So a forge also needs water. And it needs 2 inputs. So the water's there, so that's great. We can do that. That's not a problem. The output's going to come that way, so that's fine. 1 input goes that way, 1 input goes that way. So that actually works really well if we were to put this just here. And now this forge is going to be able to make these with iron ingots and graphene. Okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to remove this from here. And instead this is going to push into here like so. We're also going to grab the water that we've got. Now I know it's limited water. It's okay. Let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to put a twist in a pipe right here. We'll grab the pipe. We're going to plug that into here. And then we need to grab this because this is where the, oh, that's basalt coming into that one. So this one's the one that's got the graphite coming in. All right, so we need to come out from before this. So we're going to close this one off from here. Now we want to grab a conveyor splitter. So we'll do that. First part of that's just going to go straight into there. Second part of this is just going to go straight into here. So making sure that it does actually go in, which I think it does. And this last one that we've got here, which is actually going to filter around like so. Well, this one is going to filter around into here like this. Bring it down along here. And then from here, we're going to bring it around like so. All right. So checking that this works, it's coming down here, into here, half's going into here, the other half's coming round into here. That's going to come into here, which is going to be the graphite. And then this one now is going to go from here into here. This is going to be number 1, which means all of this iron ingot, we're going to get rid of this. So now we need to find somewhere else to bring iron ingot. What we can also do, by the way, is take off in our drone, find our ship, and we can actually get into our ship. As long as we can get close enough to it and it works. Here, we're too far away. There we go. Use the ship. So, iron. Well, if we go back here, funnily enough, we have so much iron here and we're not doing anything with it. In fact, it's completely stacked up. So what would be really good to do, because we've got the space to do it, is to build another warehouse. Now we can start to build these two warehouses. We don't need to at this stage. We don't need one here. We can wait till we get one later. Oh. But it would make sense because we've got this iron coming out of here to split it and put it into a warehouse there. It's just a bit too much. We don't need to do that at this stage. Given the fact that it's going to cost so much power to do that. But we could, if we wanted to, put another huge warehouse down here and we could just use that for iron. We're just going to leave it for now. We'll do that when we go somewhere else later. All right, so lots of problems solved right now. What else do we need to do? So tackling the next problem. We're not going to do trains at the moment. We're going to leave those. Reinforced. We know we've got steel alloy. That's coming. For this, we need computers, insulation, basalt, and steel alloy. That is coming. So now that we know that we've got the steel alloy coming, it's going to be slow. There we go. It's already started to come in. This is going to give us everything that we need. So all we need to do now is just wait, and that will be done. So in the next video, because everything's now prepared and everything's done, and we're where we need to be, in the next video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to head over to this region, and we're going to set up a new base in this region. And that's going to make sure that we can get to the next stage of terraformation. So a lot more done in terms of setting up automating today. Also, in terms of next objectives, we know that we need to do the ore, the osmium ore. So we also need to take that. That is something that we could do just very quickly, actually, but we're going to have to set up another smelter for this to be able to get that. But that would be another thing, is because we don't actually need that ore. In fact, let's just very quickly, because that is the last loop that we need to do here. We know where that is. That's actually this one, and it's just going straight in. Look, we've got it here. And it's actually this one, so let's have a quick look. So from here, this is being mined, but it's just going straight in. So what we actually need to do is we need to look at what this takes. To make this, we take the ore and we put it through a forge. That's all it is. It's just a forge. Well, forges are nice and easy. We can just grab a forge. We can put that down here. Very easy. Doesn't need anything else. We take this out of here. And instead, this now goes... Now, remember, we can use this one now because we can go through a lot quicker. So this is only makes 60 a minute anyway. And that's going to make these ingots. And then what we can do is just flip this around instead this way. That goes over to here. And all we're going to do is we're going to take all of this ore out because we don't want it. It will stack up a little bit, which is fine. But as soon as that's finished, now we're making that. So there we go. That's very, very simple fix. Now we're just going to jump out of our ship. We're okay. Take a bit of damage, but we're all right. Well, we're hungry anyway. So recall that ship. Eat some food. And we're good. And now we just need to wait, because what we're going to do is make 100 of these now. These ingots. They will start to craft. So then we'll be able to analyze this and unlock a lot of new things. So just looking what we'll get from this when we unlock this. Level 3 conveyor belts, which is 240 resources per minute. We're going to get the advanced miner. So advanced miner can mine hard gems. So hard gems such as diamonds and rubies. We're also going to get ourselves the tunnel drill. This terraforming vehicle is used to dig tunnels. So that's going to be very handy, especially where we went through with that pipe. We could maybe use that to do something like that. And a geothermal plant. Generates geothermal energy from the planet's internal heat, with volcanic and mesa regions providing optimal output. 650 minimum to 1,200 maximum. And that's going to need plated connectors, computers, which we've got, composite beams and drills. So they're the things that we're going to start making in the next video, as well as going to that other area. So a lot done today, a lot done in terms of advancement. We're now ready to progress and take it to the next level. So join me in the next video when we go explore the planet a little bit more, focus on our terraformation, and finish off those last few tweaks, setting up those more advanced crafting mechanics. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.